Hi, my name is Hayley Browning and this is my cultural project for Geography 1520. Throughout this video there will be pictures popping up on the screen that will portray what I'm talking about so that you get a better understanding of the topic. For my project I decided to focus on the culture revolving around Judaism. Many people know Judaism as only a religion, but in fact it has many different aspects that classify it as a culture as well. I was curious about Judaism because I will be living with 3 other girls this year in my apartment in East Lansing, and they all have grown up Jewish. I grew up Presbyterian, so there's obviously a difference there. I have known a bunch of Jewish people in the district that I have gone to school in, but I haven't been that close with them, so I think that this will be a great way for me to understand the topic and for me to relate to my roommates in a better way. To learn more about this topic, I interviewed my roommates. They all have been raised in the culture, as I said, and they were very helpful with all of the questions that I had. I was also able to attend an official Shabbat dinner on a Friday evening, which was a really interesting experience in and of itself. In regards to the food, when I attended Shabbat, they explained a lot to me about the foods that they ate and why they ate them. To begin, Shabbat starts at sundown on Friday and continues on until sundown on Saturday. Many only celebrate Shabbat with a Friday meal with their families, while others continue with a celebration on Saturday night known as Havdalah, which is the closing of Shabbat. At Shabbat, one of the main focuses of the experience revolves around the food. When I went, we enjoyed brisket, challah, manischewitz, which is a type of Jewish wine, and some other side dishes. They also typically either dine on chicken or turkey, matzah ball soup, or just plain matzah. To begin the meal, everyone prayed over the wine and the challah while lighting candles. This is a typical beginning to a Shabbat dinner. As we ate, I continued to ask questions about what we were eating and why we were eating it. The family that I dined with does not keep kosher, but they explained that concept to me because it's a common concept in Judaism. There are rules in the Torah that must be followed if you decide to keep kosher. Some examples of these include meat cannot be eaten with dairy, utensils that come into contact with meat cannot come into contact with dairy, and vice versa, and that certain animals are forbidden to be eaten, like pigs, camels, rabbits, lobsters, oysters, shrimp, and a few others. If a family were to keep kosher, it's likely that they will have 2 of everything in their kitchen, including like silverware, utensils, all of that, and they might even have 2 completely separate kitchens. This way it prevents cross-contamination of the dairy and the meat. Keeping kosher, it's important to note, is a choice for anyone in Judaism. It's not required by the culture, but many still choose to follow it. Because of these rules, that's why we had brisket, because it's one of the allowed meats. Matzah also plays a big role in Jewish history. It's usually eaten during Passover, but can be eaten at any point throughout the year. Passover is a Jewish holiday, and when they eat the matzah, it's to commemorate the hardships that the Jews went through. Food plays a crucial role in Jewish history, and each holiday has its own focus on food, whether it be Yom Kippur, or Rosh Hashanah, or even just Shabbat. And also, a lot of prayer takes place at these celebrations when food is involved. In regards to religion, Judaism itself is considered a religion. However, within Judaism, there are different branches and levels of Judaism. The people that I interviewed are all Reformed, but there's also Orthodox and Conservative Jews. And within these branches, there are Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews. Ashkenazi Jews originated in Eastern Europe, while Sephardic Jews are from areas surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. Most people in America are Reform, but in Israel, Conservative and Orthodox Jews are more common. And this is simply because it's easier to maintain that lifestyle here in America, while in Israel, it's a lot easier to maintain an Orthodox or conservative lifestyle because Israel is known as the Holy Land. There isn't necessarily an event that led to Orthodox, conservative, or Reformed Jews. It's more a decision of how you choose to follow the rules of the Torah. And following the rules of the Torah is one of the overarching themes of Judaism. A few months ago, I was able to attend a bat mitzvah for a family friend, and that involved a service in the morning and a celebration in the evening. The service at the temple was completely different than what I expected because I have grown up Presbyterian, and it is a lot different than a Presbyterian service, but it was still incredibly eye-opening, and I liked experiencing something different. In the temple, a lot of times it revolves around music, which brings me into my next topic. There are not many songs that are specific to Judaism except for Hava Nagila, which means let us rejoice. So this song is typically sung at Jewish celebrations, whether it be a wedding or a bar or bat mitzvah. And other than that, most songs in Judaism revolve around prayers. All of the prayers that they speak, whether it be at temple or even Shabbat, have rhythm and are turned into songs. Even reading the Torah at your own bar mitzvah must be sung with rhythm. There aren't any traditional instruments, but oftentimes pianos are played at temple. The more reformed the synagogue is, the more likely it is that they will include other instruments like a guitar or drums. And hearing Hava Nagila firsthand showed me how different their culture is. Not only is this a completely different language, so to be honest, I don't really know what they were saying, but even the way the rhythm works is different than music today. Music today in American culture, there's a lot of rap and just gibberish, but there's a lot of meaning behind Hava Nagila. And I think this also plays into why prayer is so important in the rhythm, and why they turn it into songs, because there's meaning behind that as well. And I think that maybe even the Jewish culture should look into having more songs besides Hava Nagila, because it might open other people's eyes and make them more aware of the different culture, and that there should be more meaning behind our songs and how important music is to culture. In regards to attire, in Judaism, there are some rules regarding attire that must be followed. Men wear yarmulkes, also known as kippas, to temple and other holy celebrations like Shabbat. Men can also choose to wear a tallis if they are reformed, but in Orthodox and conservative temples, it's required. Men will often kiss the fringe of their tallis and then touch the fringe to the Torah as a sign of respect. In most synagogues, women have to cover their knees and shoulders. Male Orthodox Jews all wear the same outfit, all black suits with a black hat. And women Orthodox Jews have to have their knees and shoulders covered at all times, not just at temple. At the bat mitzvah I attended, I noticed that yarmulkes were provided for visitors, which was very considerate. It definitely made the men feel more comfortable if they were from a different religion and were there for the celebration of the young girl. In regards to traditions, they play a big role in Judaism, as I previously stated. Becoming bar or bat mitzvahed is a big deal because the entire idea of Judaism is about giving back to the community. When one is bar or bat mitzvahed, they will complete community service before they can complete their celebration. Also, many families have Shabbat dinners weekly. I know the family that I visited does it every week, and I'm sure that my roommates will continue to do it this school year. I appreciate that tradition I appreciate this tradition because it's a great way to have some quality family time that is often overlooked nowadays. I know that my family doesn't always sit down for dinners, and having a specific time each week would really be beneficial to my family, and I think I'm going to introduce it to my family and see how well it works. Also, keeping kosher is a big tradition in this culture. Although it is a choice, many still choose to keep kosher out of respect for Judaism. But in general, the main tradition is to do whatever you can to follow the rules of the Torah. This is the overarching goal of Judaism. My family and culture does not have nearly as many traditions as Judaism, but as I stated, I think we should start having weekly dinners. And also, my family goes to church on Sundays, which is in common with Judaism, except they go to church or temple on Fridays. So we have weekly attendance as well. In general, my culture is a lot different than Judaism, but there are also some similarities. Doing this project has really opened my eyes to what I may experience this year living with 3 Jewish girls, and I'm excited to experience their traditions in the first hand. Whether it be a Shabbat dinner on Fridays or even lighting the menorah on Hanukkah, we'll see what happens. I think it'll be a great learning experience for all of us, and I'm eager to see how it turns out. Thank you.